Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. Total Recall is a 1990 science fiction action film that was directed by Paul Verhoeven. The screenplay was done by Ronald Shusett and Dan O'Bannon. The movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rachel Ticotin, Sharon Stone, Ronnie Cox, and Michael Ironside. The project is based on a 1966 short story that was called We Can Remember It for You Wholesale, written by Philip K. Dick. It's a story about a guy named Douglas Quaid, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, as he's a bored construction worker in the year 2084. But he dreams of visiting the colonized Mars. He visits Recall, a company that plants false memories into people's brains in order for them to experience the thrill of Mars without actually having to travel there. But something goes wrong during the procedure. Quaid discovers that his entire life is actually a false memory, and that the people who implanted it in his head now want him dead. Screenwriter Shusett bought the rights to the short story in 1974, and he developed the script with his partner O'Bannon. Although the project was considered promising, the ambitious scope kept it in developmental hell at multiple studios over the next 16 years, seeing 40 script drafts, 7 different directors, and multiple actors cast as Quaid. The film eventually entered into the early stages of filming in 1987 under the De Laurentiis Entertainment Group. Schwarzenegger had long held an interest in the project, but he had really been dismissed as inappropriate for this lead role. Carolco Pictures purchased the rights with the idea for Schwarzenegger to star in it on an estimated $48 to $80 million budget, which made it one of the most expensive films that had been made at that time. And they felt that it would just be too expensive to do in Hollywood, so they moved it to Mexico and shot it there. After seeing Sharon Stone's performance as Lori in this film, the director loved her so much that he would cast her in Basic Instinct from 1992. Due to her great ability to play a character that could change from a timid, charming sweetheart to a diabolical person and back again at a moment's notice. He would also state that that's the way Sharon Stone was in real life. When screenwriters Ronald Shusett and Dan O'Bannon first started working on the screenplay for the movie back in the 70s, they realized that the movie would probably be too expensive and difficult to make. So they delayed working on the project anymore and instead worked on an idea that the screenwriters had about a space monster that was terrorizing a spaceship crew. That went on to become the successful movie Alien from 1979. During filming, Schwarzenegger noticed that Michael Ironside was constantly on the phone between takes. When he broached the subject with Ironside, he was told that he was phoning his sister and that she was currently suffering from cancer. Arnold immediately brought Michael to his trailer, and they had an hour-long three-way conversation with Ironside's sister about what exercises she could do and what kind of foods she should be eating to help her recovery. Ironside has never forgotten the kindness that Schwarzenegger showed, and neither has his sister. Schwarzenegger was also impressed with how much dedication Sharon Stone had in training for her character's role, so much so that he even referred to her as the female Terminator, and she went on to be inducted into the Stunt Woman Association as an honorary member. And to coincide with the movie's release, Sharon posed nude for Playboy magazine, showing off the buff body she had developed in preparation for the film. About 10% of the crew while in Mexico had fallen ill due to food poisoning at one time during the production. All this with the exception of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the screenwriter Shusett. Schwarzenegger escaped this sickness because he always had his food catered in from the U.S. This was because 3 years earlier, he had fallen ill due to drinking the tap water in Mexico during the production of Predator from 1987. Shusett, the screenwriter, took extreme health cautions while down there, such as only brushing his teeth with boiled or bottled water and insisting on getting a weekly vitamin B12 shot from the medical staff. The cast and crew made fun of him for doing this until they got sick themselves. The director fell ill from the food poisoning almost immediately after shooting began in Mexico. And during the whole production down there, he was rarely fit or feeling well. Towards the end of the filming, he got so sick that he would have an ambulance nearby on the set at all times, with paramedics ready to administer fluids and medication in between takes, so he could keep directing in spite of his illness. It's said that he would actually direct from a stretcher on top of a minivan because he was unable to stand, and he informed the crew that unless the doctor actually said that he was dying, that they were going to continue the shooting. The original cut of the film was given an X rating. All this because of the excessive violence in it. Some of the violence was trimmed, and different camera angles were used in some of the more over-the-top scenes, and the movie was then re-rated at R. The three-breasted hooker named Mary was originally supposed to have 4 breasts in that shot in the film, but the producers thought it looked too much like cow udders hanging there. The effect for the shot was achieved with an elaborate prosthetic plate that was attached to the actress Lycia Naff's chest. It covered her from all the way up her neck to her belly button. All 3 of the breasts are completely fake, and it took about 8 hours in a private room for 2 makeup artists to pull this off. Miss Naff really took this scene as just being a goof because she wasn't exposing her own breast. But she got more nervous when the date of shooting grew more near, as it felt like she was really exposing herself. She said she was smiling on screen, but that was just on the surface. She was near tears during the entire shoot. She started freaking out and began regretting that she took the part. But the director ended up calming her down, and they got the scene shot. Go back and take a look at this very well-done film. I don't think it's for everybody, but it is a well-done project, and I think you might enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.